Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can see today, I am not alone. I have a special guest with me, my husband, Christian.
What's going on, yo?
And today I wanted to talk to you about a subject that I think is very trending, but somehow we don't talk about it enough. It is about finances in a marriage, especially the 50-50 split. Should a couple be 50-50 or not? And in this video, I wanted to talk about how do we feel about the 50-50? What has worked for us so far in our finances as a married couple? What has helped us manage our finances? As well as I always care to talk about money to each other. So let's get into it. So babe, how do you feel about 50-50?
So my take on 50-50 is I don't actually think that's not a thing for me. Like 50-50 is not really a thing. I don't really know. Like I didn't grow up in a household where it was 50-50. Like it was more so 100-100. Whereas like whatever my father earned, whatever my mother earned, they just kind of made it work. And maybe there was some arrangement between them of portions of, what each other makes, but I wasn't really privy to that. So to me, it's just like, well, my money is her money. And, we're a team.
And your money is my money.
we're a team. And so it's basically instead of fighting each other on okay, you put this much, I put this much. And not to say that everybody who does 50-50 is necessarily fighting. Mm-hmm. But for me, it's just not something I'm used to. So it's basically, I think it's 100-100. That's the better model. Obviously, you have to decide in your household based on who earns what, or because yes. There is sometimes you can earn disproportionately more than your spouse or your partner. So I think there has to be a conversation that happens, regarding okay, well, if this is what the bills are, the household expenses are, how much of your pay or your earnings will go towards this, or how much of mine. But really, to me, it's more like 100. Like
and for us, we never really did 50-50. Like we went through ups and downs in our finances, and even then, it was never 50-50. Whatever I brought to the table, it was collective, and whatever you brought to the table, it was collective as well. So it was never we never did 50. We never even talked about 50-50. Really, it was never a conversation.
Yeah, you know what's
as far
actually
as I remember.
Yeah, maybe we had this conversation early on in our relationship, but I just don't remember. But for as long as I can remember, it was just we had one common goal. Yeah. And we just put 100% of our resources towards that goal. Yeah. And 100% of a person earning X and 100% of a person, earning Y is still, both putting in 100% versus, okay, well, just meet me halfway no matter what you earn. Like I think you have to sort of talk about that. But yeah, 50-50, the way that it's traditionally defined, as far as my understanding is, this is what the expenses are. You put up half, I put up half, and that's just not how it works because, half of disproportionate earning can be really damaging, actually.
But what I've seen is that, for example, the wife is going to pay for the mortgage or the rent and the car's payment, and the husband is going to pay for groceries and whatever else. Yeah, I think that's kind of the 50-50 that most people are doing, I would assume. Even for me, I never really saw my parents do that. Whatever my mom brought home, that's what they were using for the household. Whatever my dad brought home was... Like, so I never, 50-50 was never a thing. It was never a thing. It's whatever couple was able to bring to the household, that's whatever the household is earning. And I think for us, that's what has worked so far.
Yeah, that's the model that we've used to. And you're right. Like, I didn't really consider it that way, where it's like, okay, you take care of X and I take care of Y. But yeah, I guess for us, we just reconciled that to just be household expenses. And then whatever our earnings can tackle towards that, then that's how we did it. So yeah, 50-50, not really used to it. Not to say it doesn't work, but yeah, I'd be curious to see what you guys thought. Yeah.
The way we manage our finance is that we both get paid separately, and then we both put X amount into our checking expenses account, which is where all the expenses from the house is coming from, and then the rest we put in savings, or we just keep it to buy ourselves some stuff. But that's kind of how we manage our finances, really.
Yeah, that's the short version. But yeah, basically it's that. there's whatever we earn. There's a whole expense account which takes care of all of the expenses, no matter what it is. And so whatever that amount makes out to be, when we get paid, we'll just pool into that account, make sure that those things are taken care of, and then secondary comes savings, and then investments, and then the rest, you kind of just splurge if you have to, or
splurge,
live. All right. So we'll get into what has helped us manage our finances. I guess it's basically tracking it, like putting an entity and identifying what it is that our finances are. So we have our expenses, and we have an amount that we need to put in savings, maybe an amount that we need to invest in, and then there's your day-to-day. And so tracking that has been probably the biggest contributor in how we manage that.
So we created a spreadsheet on Google Drive, and we put all of our expenses. So rent, mortgage, car payments, insurance, groceries, gas, credit cards payments, everything.
Yeah, exactly. So we have all of those expenses. It totals up to whatever amount, and then we basically divide that by 4 because get paid semi-monthly, and she gets paid semi-monthly, and so that's basically 4 payments in a month. And so then that tells us, out of each pay, so to speak, what portion of that we should be putting into that expense account.
Yeah. So every time we get paid, we take that X amount and we put it in expense account, and then the rest we put in savings and investment, or we just splurge. We do a lot splurging.
Splurge. Yeah. So I mean, it helps. You know what? In all honesty, sometimes we deviate from that, because within that spreadsheet it tells us. Like it serves as a guide, right? Like it should tell us, okay, well, this month, after your expenses, whatever, like your savings should be here. Okay, you're splurging. This is the budget you give yourselves for splurging, or investment. And sometimes we deviate. Sometimes it might be a little more in savings. Sometimes it might be a little more in investment. Sometimes it might be a little more in splurging. But on those splurging months, let me tell you. It's something, but
we can testify.
We can, but we try our best to stick to that.
But the thing is, like, as long as your bills are paid, whatever you do with the rest of your money, to be honest, if you're able to put even a little bit towards savings, whatever you do with the rest.
Yeah, it's
your business.
Yeah, it's your business. Definitely, like what percentages you put into savings, et cetera, like that's entirely up to you based on how your household functions.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a little bit of our model of how we've been able to make it work and what helps us manage it.
So I have some stats for you guys. According to TD Canada Trust, 77% of Canadians said that they wouldn't marry someone who has excessive debts or was poor at managing their finances. What do you think about that?
I could see that.
Would you marry me if you knew I had like 100,000 in debt?
Yeah, I think I.
You would have?
I would have.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have, because it's not like when you married me I had no debt. You did have debt. I had debt.
No, I actually didn't.
What do you mean? You had debt?
My car?
Well, yeah, but
I guess.
It wasn't major debt, but I think we all have debt. Obviously, it wasn't
excessive though.
Yeah, nowhere near 100. But at the same time, how I'm looking at it is, well, if this is the person that you're considering to spend the rest of your life with, I don't know if debt is what's good, because even together, so what happens when or if, I shouldn't say when, but if, God forbid I lose my job, we both lose our jobs, and then you run up your savings, and then you're in a tough situation. Do you leave each other, because of debt?
Well, because I do have another stats here that says, based on Ramsey's solution in 2021, money is the number one issue married couple argue about. And then couples in healthy marriages are more likely to talk about their money dreams and make long-term money goals. Well, let's talk about the first stat first. So money is the number one issue married couple argue about. Do you agree?
Yes.
For us?
And no.
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't know about other people, to be honest, but for us, money is not the number one issue we argue about.
Yeah, it's actually not.
It's not even the second one.
Yeah, I
Uh,
I don't think it's ever one.
Well, it depends, right? Because now, like, we're both working, like, not in a tough position financially, and like, so if you were to lose your job, would you think that we would argue more about money than we are now?
I'd like to say no, because there has been a time that, like, when, like, 2 months before we got married, like, I had lost my job, but I can't say that we argued only
No, not
about
like
money.
arguments. No, not like arguments.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, it was a tougher time, but I don't know if it's just the number one. Like, I think, yeah, but I can see that. Like, I respect the stat.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
I can see that. I respect the stat. Like, it's overwhelmingly saying that for a reason. It just hasn't really been our case. So that's kind of what my thoughts are.
Couples in healthy marriages are much more likely to talk about their money dreams and make long-term money goals. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense to me too. Yeah,
We do that all the time.
yeah. We
We
the funny thing is, so guys, like, I was actually telling her the other day that, like, we talk about money too much.
But not in a bad way, though.
Yeah, not in a bad way,
yeah.
but no, like, it's good. Like, we talk about our goals. We talk about what we'd like to, what our next 5 years, what we'd like to see, where we'd like to land, aka, quit our jobs and stuff like that, and not have to trade our time. But I was just telling her, like, all of that is part of adulthood. Like, it's adulting, you know what I mean? And yeah, we do quite a bit of that. It was just funny. But yeah, I could see how that's, that could be healthy to have those discussions.
Last week I was listening to a podcast, and the couple on the podcast were saying how generally couples are afraid to talk about money to each other. I don't know why is that, but generally that's the case for most couples, that they don't like to talk about money. Maybe because it's a trigger to some people, maybe because they are not in the financial situation they would like to be, so that's why they don't really talk about money. But for us, like we said, we talk about money all the time. That's never been an issue for us, even since the beginning, even when I was still living at my parents'. Well, no, that's not true. I don't think we were talking about money that much. For me, back when I was at my parents' house, I was not
as knowledgeable.
Yes, exactly, as knowledgeable about money that I am now.
You can be, unless you're like a finance person where you're really into that, then your dealings with money was just to the extent that you had it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think when we got together, or at least when we started talking weddings, then those conversations automatically came in.
Yep.
Because
you have to pay away.
Yeah. Wedding in is not going to come free. So that was a big expense for us. So we had to already start planning for that right away.
Yeah, and then that's kind of where all the decision started from there. For me to move from my parents to come to Edmonton to look for a job because there was more opportunities here to make more money, and in the hindsight, that was the best thing we could have done, because 6 months later you lost your job.
Yeah.
And 2 months later after that we were getting married. And we bought a house at the same time. So yeah, it was kind of brutal.
So advice to you guys: don't get married and buy a house at the same time.
No, don't do that. Well, in this economy anyway.
Yeah, like
the interest rate.
Yeah, it's just like it was a lot. Like when we did that, it was a lot because we had the wedding, which our wedding I found to be way too expensive.
Yeah, it was way too expensive.
So if I was to do that again, I don't know that I would do that. And then at the same time, we decided we kind of got roped into buying our house, to be honest.
Yeah,
we weren't really looking. Yeah,
planning on buying a house anytime soon, but it just kind of happened.
Shout out to the salesman who got us, because definitely they got us. Yeah, I mean, we were happy. We loved our house and stuff like that. But yeah, just those are two big expenses that we, in hindsight, shouldn't have done at the same time. But
so yeah, so this was just a glimpse of our thoughts on finances and how we manage our finances as a married couple. So thank you guys for watching this video. If you have any comments about how you manage your finance, maybe please leave the comments below. And if you have any new subject that you would like me and my guest hubby/babe here to talk about, please let me know as well. And don't forget to subscribe and like this video, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.